Hello, my lovelies. I wanted to tell you all about my life so far, but I don't have time to talk to all of you because I've got like a million midterms, and yes, we do call every test midterms. But case for an example, look at my notes. They're so pretty. Like, all of them. I color-coded them. I'm such a dork, I know. But they go on. Anyway, so I am busy cramming my brains out, but I'm gonna tell you my awkward experiences of life lately, which so far has been the major ones, 2 major episodes, and the first one has to do with the washing machines, and the second one has to do with dinner. Second one's arguably the best story, but I'll start off with the first one. So I waited as long as I possibly could until doing laundry. So it's the point where you're doing the sniff test and you're like, it smells, but it's still really, it's not that bad. It got to that point. So I pretty much had this whole laundry basket, it's almost as tall, well, it doesn't even go up to my waist, but it's huge. Anyway, and I had it full, and I was dragging it to the laundromat, and I ran into someone I had met the other day, so we're like, yay, let's do laundry together. So we get into the laundromat, and apparently that Saturday was the day to do laundry, because there were no empty ones. The ones that had the $2 on it, and you could still put stuff in, that's where you're supposed to be able to put stuff in, there was still stuff in there. But we figured out that the giant industrial ones, which could fill all of this and still have more left inside, those ones were empty. And she was like, well, I have a friend who uses these ones, and I guess it works, but they're giant monster ones that you don't even, because normal washing machines you open, these ones you don't open, you push something backwards and then open it, and then when you pour your dishwasher soap in, it's into this metal grate thing, and it's all weird. So we had that adventure of figuring out how to first open them and then second, put all the dishwasher stuff in. And so once we had finally figured that out, we tried to pay for it. So we had everything in there, all the clothes and all the stuff, and there's a little card reader for you to put your little card, because if you use your student ID you get a discount. So we go to scan the card, and it is washer whatever, and you put in the washer number. So we put in the washer number, and then it was okay, I'm gonna do it now. And then nothing happened. So we're sitting there, and we're I don't know what to do. So we kept trying to slam it shut as hard as we possibly could, because it said close the door or else it won't work. So we kept trying to close the door, but it still wasn't working. So she decided to go into the creamery, which is the grocery store next door, and ask him about it. But while she was doing that, I re-swiped my card, and then it worked. So then it was really awkward when she came back and mine was working, and then we had to figure out how to get hers to work. But it did need our clothes, and I have clean clothes, because even if you smell them, well, they smell like me because I've been wearing them all day. But I still don't smell that bad, I don't think. Hopefully not. It was snowing today. But, and then story number 2, this hair is in my face. Story number 2 starts off with Sunday, because, well, I guess technically it still stays with Saturday, because I feel the past 2 weeks I've been living on ramen and whatever else I can find in my kitchen. So Saturday we went to the grocery store, which wasn't really that much of an adventure. I kind of spent a lot of money, but that's still not really an adventure. So Sunday I start to make this chicken broccoli. Well, I wanted to make this chicken broccoli stuff, which was really good and has cheese in it and it's to die for. But as I went to go make it, my roommate got a text from this guy, and he invited us over for dinner. So she's all yeah, we're going to go over to his house for dinner. And so I couldn't make it. Well, I asked her if I could bring it over to his house, and she was like, Lindsay, we're supposed to make a dessert. We're not supposed to bring food. She's like, just make it now, and we can eat it later if we don't like what he's actually serving. Because, we were supposed to go over at 5, and then 4:30, and then 5, or something maybe it was 5 and 5:30 or 6. I don't know. But then I ended up making it, and then we all ended up eating it, except since it was really good, we all kind of sort of ate a lot, and so by the time that we got to his house, none of us were hungry. So we had the whole awkward thing. Well, we were waiting because he was still cooking it. So, which it was actually kind of interesting. He was southern food, so it was grits, and no, it wasn't grits. It was hush puppies, which is cornbread soaked in cornbread and then fried. And that's kind of disgusting. And then they had fried steak, which was actually really good. And then they had this weird boiled leaf thing that was like collard greens, but we kept thinking they were saying like collard green, and we're like, what does that mean? What is it? The collard green is not a food, so we had that awkward experience where like we were like collard green, and they were like collard greens, and then they were making jokes, and I was still like, what? And then it tastes like seaweed, but it's lettuce, and it was really confusing. Um, but anyway, we were like waiting for him to cook it, so we were like, I don't know what to do. Do you know what to do? So we kind of just sat there awkwardly, and they had a friend over whose jacket was really light blue, but it was actually kind of like ombre, like it changed. Is that what it is? They changed colors, so it like lightly gradiated up, but like the light blue perfectly matched his eyes. So I think it was like creepily staring at his eyes because his jacket matched his eyes, and I kept going from the jacket to the eyes. So I think that might have made it a little bit more awkward than it should have been. And what else? Oh, so then he finally finishes the food, and they're like, well, ladies first. And none of us were hungry. Well, at least Yoni and I weren't. So we were like, no, you go first. And they were like, no, you go first. And then they got Amanda to go, and then the two of us are just standing there looking at each other. We're like, no, you go first. And then like they're like, I'll go if you want me to go. And then one guy was like, no, we'll go every other person. So then he went, and then his friend went, and then they wanted us to go, and so then we went, and we got food, and we were eating the food, and I was trying to eat the food, but it was like steak, except it was fried, and we only had a fork. So the one guy went and got a knife, and he was gonna go use it, and then he saw that I was having trouble, and I was like, I can't function. But I don't think I actually said that. It was more like I actually wasn't functioning. So, he was like, do you want the knife? And I'm like, no, it's your knife. You keep the knife. He's like, no, I'll give you the knife. And then, like, in my head, I'm like, you went and grabbed a knife. I'm not going to take it from you. Like, who do you think I am? So, I ended up stabbing the steak and then being like, I'm a man, and trying to eat it. So, like, normally in my head it would have gone like, I'm a man, you know? But it was steak and I couldn't chew, so I was like, I'm a man, and then I couldn't bite it off, and it was really awkward. And I eventually went to the kitchen and stole another knife because I couldn't eat it without a knife. So there was that. And then after dinner, like, oh, we showed them a bunch of stupid videos, and they're like, what do you do with your life? Watch cat videos? And I'm like, you don't? So there's that awkward moment. But then there kept being a lot of awkward moments where, like, we'd run out of things to talk about. Like, we'd have a whole conversation, and then it'd just end, and you'd be like, so what now? Like, I don't know what to do. So me being me, I just kind of sat there, and then Yoni and I kept looking at each other like, until somebody started a real conversation. And then I had to go Skype my parents, which I don't know why, but lately I've started this thing where, like, when I talk to people, I, like, overly explain things for some reason. Like, when I'm gonna leave, I, like, try to explain the whole reason why I'm leaving and exactly what's going on, when I could just be like, hey, I'm leaving, bye. But I'm not smart enough to do that. So Sunday I was all like, no, I have to go Skype my parents. And then they're like, you can just Skype them here, like, why don't you just stay? Which, I don't know why they offered that. I was being an idiot all night. Well, maybe not an idiot, just really awkward. And I was like, but Parker's not there, and I have to teach them how to use it because they don't know how to use Google. And I, like, went on this whole explanation as I was walking out the door. And it's like I realized halfway through that I'm going through this explanation, so I leave, which just makes it worse because, like, you're in the middle of, like, and then you close the door and you're like, oh, what did I just do? And I kind of did it yesterday too, because, like, yesterday I was over playing cards, and it was like Scum or something, and I always ended up being Scum. I think I was, like, in the middle of the second round, but then I left, so I never got to win. But I doubt I'd win. I'd probably just end up being Scum again. And I left, and I explained, like, the first time, I'm like, yeah, I just have to go do homework, like, we've already been here for an hour, I gotta go. And then the second time, one guy was like, well, why don't you just stay for, like, another round? It's really, like, it won't be that long. And I was like, but I have to go make cookies because my friend gave me a piece and I need to go, like, word vomit as I was walking out the door. And I, like, start walking home and I'm like, what did I just say? Like, it's gotten so bad. Or, like, I was talking to that one guy, the friend that I mentioned, who gave me his piece, and I was like, did the same thing. Like I tried to explain something that didn't need to be explained, and I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? So that has been the reasons why I can't function as a normal human being this week. Which, it's only Tuesday, so there might be more. But I love you. Bye.